Hello, electronic enthusiasts and ham radio enthusiasts the world around. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG here in Colorado, bringing you another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes from Marcus Holzer. Marc is N6UNX. Talks about several things in here, but one of the things he talks about is an organization called Straight Key Century Club. It's an interesting organization designed to promote the use of Morse code on the air using mechanical means only to key the signal, not an electronic keyer. Electronic keyers are very easy to run, and it's also very easy to get carried away at a high speed with them. Now, the first speed keyer that was developed and that has the name, there were several developed, but the one that lives to this day, in fact, the name Vibroplex is the oldest brand name in ham radio, going all the way back to in the early 1900s. In fact, I put together a presentation on the history of Vibroplex, which I've presented at several hamfests. Now, if we look at that, it says mechanical means for using the Straight Key Century Club. There's points given out. You have a number which you exchange with the other person, etc., like that. Has all the makings of a good on-the-air experience. One thing they do not allow is electronic keying. Now, electronic keying, the back and forth paddle movement, is actually derived from the Vibroplex itself. Okay, this is the Vibroplex right here. Okay, it has a motion that's mechanical. When you hit it this way, you get dashes. You have to do each one manually. But if you go this way, and I have to do it in such a way that it's level, it will cause a string of dits. So that's why it's called a semi-automatic key. Now, if you look really closely at the Vibroplex label, what you see is the label is a bug. It's an insect. So these keys have picked up the name of bugs, all right? And we can use this in a variety of different ways. It has to be very carefully set up for your fist and everything like that. This is one that I picked up at Dayton several years ago. The question is, what do you do if you want to participate in straight key? You're pounding up and down of that straight key gives you carpal tunnel syndrome, because what you're doing is this. The way you're supposed to key is this, with the elbow flexible and the wrist moving up and down with the rhythmic movement. If you do that, get your elbow on the table and go up and down like this. Just let that wrist follow you as you go up and down. You don't get the carpal tunnel problem. Now, back in ancient times when there were landline telegraphs like Western Union and the Postal Telegraph and so on, everything was straight key, up and down. In the Navy during World War II, unless you were a very special operator, you had to use an up and down key. One of the reasons for that was it deliberately slowed you down. I've been as high as 22 words a minute on a straight key. This is all the faster I can go. Some people can go considerably faster, but most people make the transition either to a bug or to the so-called paddles of an iambic keyer, where if you push this, it doesn't make just one da, it repeats it da, 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 da. And this way it goes dit, 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 dit. And it has an interesting feature. If you pull both together at the same time, you get da-da, 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 which is known in English literature as iambic pentameter. Sounds more like a disease, doesn't it? But because of that, these are called, this with the associated electronics is called an iambic keyer, because it makes that sound of iambic pentameter. Now, he wants to stay within the SKCC rules, which means a mechanical key, either up and down or back and forth. There's another kind of key I don't have an example of called a Cootie. It is actually a sideways key, and if you press it, it makes da. If you press it the other way, it goes da. So some people are very practiced at doing their daws on one side and their dits on the other. Notice this is a side-to-side motion. Your wrist doesn't turn that readily side to side, so it forces you to use your elbow. And that saves what they call glass arm, okay? If you key right, like this, you can key all day and you'll be fine. But if you key like this, you're not going to last long and it's going to make your arm very sore. So if you're going to use a straight key, practice from the elbow. Put your elbow onto the desk and practice without your wrist on the desk, okay, like this. And that wrist should go up and down, and there should be just the most natural bending and flexing there, because you're not trying to use your arm muscles to do this. By the way, all the muscles that control the movement of the wrist and the hand are here. This is why they get thick. These are all your muscles. These are the tendons that come out to the arm. So after you've done this for a while, this is what hurts. And if you do too much on the wrist, you'll actually get pain out of the wrist, okay? So the thing you can do, of course, is get the bug. Now, how do you get a bug? You get it from Vibroplex if you want a new one. There are used Vibroplexes available all the time, but do you know what you're getting? Because the Vibroplex consists of many parts, many different parts. They're all manufactured. If something is missing in here, it won't work. The only way you'll know if the Vibroplex works is to set it up for yourself and see if you can send code with da, 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 or did like that. These can be set up to send code at remarkably high speeds. In fact, the way the thing comes to you, it'll really do a minimum of about 20 words a minute. Now there is an extension, which I have for this right here, that puts the weight out here. This is the pendulum. You can see the pendulum here. The pendulum with the weight out here will be slower, so that might need to be what you start out with. I don't know of an alternative to Vibroplex other than a used whatever from way back when, because Vibroplex was quite insistent on enforcing its patents. And so all the other speed keys disappeared except this. Now the market isn't big enough for a Japanese or Chinese company to create these, because as you can see by looking at it, there's a lot of handwork in there. So you've only got the American source, you've only got Vibroplex. If you are going to purchase a used key, go see it and try it first. Make sure all the parts and pieces are there. You can get drawings from the instructions manual and stuff like that on the internet and get yourself a good keyer. Or you can just use iambic keying and forget about SKCC, but a lot of Morse is done on SKCC. So I'd say work on your arm movement first, keep looking for a Vibroplex, and have a lot of fun with SKCC. I do. I have an SKCC number myself, SKCC 13205, and that's me on SKCC. So until we next meet, take a look at patreon.com. If you want to get the videos early, the lowest level is this, a $2 bill once a month. That's all. That's 8 quarters. That's 2 buckaroos. That won't even buy you a hamburger at McDonald's. So there you go. Until we next meet, 73.